Several matters were discussed at the Region 6 RDC statutory meeting held yesterday. Jalissa Hines reports.
Yesterday, the Region 6 Regional Democratic Council held its monthly statutory meeting at the Regional Democratic Council's boardroom to discuss several matters in the region. Firstly, Chairman of the Region 6 Regional Democratic Council, Mr. David Armagon, and Councillor Colin Moore extended sincere condolences to the relatives of former Region 6 Chairman, Mr. Rohit Prasad.
Appreciation for the work that Comrade Rohit has done in his 10 years tenure as Chairman of this region, and I want on behalf of the people of this region to extend our deepest sympathy to his relatives and to say how grateful we are for the fact that he was able to serve us for 10 years.
Mr. Chairman, I also like to take this opportunity to extend sincere condolences to the family, the relatives, friends, party comrades, to the PPPC on the passing of our former chairman, Mr. Rohit Prasad. Mr. Prasad's contribution to this region, and by extension the country, will and will always be cherished and remembered.
Mr. Armagon then disclosed these details relating to the one-off 25,000 cash grant, which will be distributed to old age pensioners, disabled persons, and public assistance recipients.
The process is starting in some regions on the 11th, and I think it's from the 11th to the 15th.
Yeah, 1 week.
And those the venues for collecting these monies will be published shortly.
Yeah.
There were some difficulties with a limited number of venues, but I've asked the minister to look at it and review it, and she has done so. And so we're going to have some additional venues too, because it's going to create a lot of confusion if you just depend on one particular area and everybody converging there.
Councillor Charlotte Scott Richardson highlighted the issue of the vaccination requirements for pensioners when conducting business at the National Insurance Scheme.
The problem with the vaccine and our pensioners is that the position of the National Insurance currently is that our seniors must take the vaccine or show a PCR when they're going to uplift their pensions. These are the very pensioners that are receiving, I should call, a meager pension. A PCR in this region, from my knowledge, is $8,000 at one of the labs.
Councillor Scott Richardson went on to quote the Minister of Human Services and Social Security, Honorable Dr. Vindhya Prasad, in relation to the vaccination requirements when receiving the one-off cash grant.
She also said that the pensioners will not need to, as a matter of fact, it was waived. The mandatory requirement for receiving this vaccine, one-off cash grant, is not attached to the very gazetted instituted policy of the administration to be received. My view is, because of the political mileage that this cash grant would attract, all of a sudden, there is no need for the very pensioners to have a blue card to show that they are vaccinated to receive it. Can the region show us the difference between a 25,000 cash grant and an entitled pension of the pensioners? What's the difference?
The chairman in his reply noted,
if you have medical condition that can react, which you got to be careful. Yes, doctors will have to be told. But I will discuss that with the NIS people, because in the case of the old people and so,
Yes, sir.
some flexibility can
Need to.
Councillor Sean Smith then highlighted the issues caused by the closure of the water taxi and is pleading for the resumption of that mode of transportation.
I come here today to plead for the re-establishment and the putting into operations of the water taxi, which we have closed. The frontline workers, which is so necessary, needed, the essential workers, are having problems coming to work because of the absence of the water taxi. It has a very drastic economic impact on those frontline workers coming from the other side of the river. And so I'm calling that the water taxi be reintroduced.
Councillor Scott Richardson also raised the issue of deployable classrooms in the region. She noted her findings after visiting several schools.
There were classrooms, for example, in Crimson Primary School, I would have extensively visited all 22 classrooms. The lighting is very bad, the points are not working, students were in the classroom, teachers were there. When I inquired, I was told that the region did visit, did some other work, but nothing was done with electrical. Now electrical, lighting is one of the most basic need of a classroom, because those classrooms are very shaded because of the angle of the school. I would have also visited the Lampard Nursery School. It is in a sad state. The system, the washrooms are clogged. The internal woodworkings of the building is damaged. Parents themselves had to finance the slashing of that school.
Mr. Armagon has this to say on the issue.
As to the physical condition, we will revisit those schools and have a look at to see what's happening there, because the people that visited have reported back to us that we were not able to visit every single school, the three of us. But the report that came back to us was that they were all in order, so you have to check that.
Reporting for Channel 8 News, I am Julissa Hines.